Hello, my name is Corey Morris, and I'm an osteopathic medical student. Our guest is Dr. Lance Walker. Dr. Walker is currently a partner in PointMed North America, LLC, which provides on-site occupational medical services to industry. He is the medical director of Georgia Power Corporation, Southern Company Services, and Southern Company Gas. Dr. Walker completed undergraduate training in biology at William Jewell College in Liberty, Missouri. He received a doctorate degree in osteopathic medicine from the Oklahoma State University College of Osteopathic Medicine. His residency was completed in family medicine at Floyd Medical Center in Rome, Georgia, where he served as chief resident. After residency, he entered private practice in North Carolina, where he co-founded and managed 3 successful practices in the Raleigh-Durham area. He received a master's degree in public health from the University of North Carolina in 2005. Dr. Walker relocated to the Atlanta area to be closer to family in the year 2006. He is board certified in family and osteopathic medicine. He is an aviation medical examiner and a certified medical review officer. His practice interests include wellness and occupational medicine. His treatment philosophy is to emphasize disease prevention through early intervention and lifestyle modification before utilization of pharmacological interventions. Dr. Walker is married, has 2 children, and resides in Marietta, Georgia. His personal interests include running, reading, and traveling. And with that, I'd like to present to you my interview with Dr. Lance Walker. What is your specialty?
So by training, I'm a family medicine physician. I did family medicine residency, and boarded in family medicine. And just kind of over the years, found myself doing more and more occupational medicine. Just locally had a family medicine clinic, started working for some of the, we had a couple of power plants in town, and they started asking us to help them out with their occupational medicine exams. And really found that we enjoyed that a lot more than taking care of sick folks, and felt like we had a good impact on wellness and prevention, and really enjoyed the occupational medicine aspect. So from there, as things evolved over the years, it's been 20 years or something since I got out of residency, just doing more and more occupational medicine to the point and putting family medicine to the side as it went. And probably about 10 years ago, I switched over pretty much completely to just doing occupational medicine. What I do now is so originally it was mostly clinical occupational medicine. So really seeing people, doing a lot of the work myself, hands-on physicals, and now I've transitioned more into administrative type work. I still do a clinical day once a week where I see patients. I do flight physicals and hazmat physicals and firefighter physicals. But now I'm a medical director for a Fortune 500 power company. So I supervise all of their policies, do a lot of chart reviews, return to works, drug screening policies. With COVID, that certainly was very busy with the corporation. And then I also own my own business on the side, doing performing firefighter physicals. We go on site and do firefighter physicals. And I think we're in 14, 15 states now doing that.
Let's say that you were like at a dinner party with someone, they ask you what you do, you say occupational medicine, and they say, well, what is that? How would you explain to them kind of what is that you do?
It's the intersection between the medical and the workplace. So how do medical conditions and fitness and wellness, how does that interact with the worker in their job? And that's probably the easiest way I can explain it to a lay person. And they usually kind of get it that way. There's always a lot of confusion, like, oh, you're an occupational therapist. I'm like, no, it's not an occupational, it's different than that. Although that's similar in some ways. So that's the way I usually explain it to people.
What does your day-to-day work look like?
Yeah, so day-to-day now is very different than it was, starting out in family medicine. Day-to-day was 50 patients a day, hospital medicine and weekends and call. It's a lot different than that now. And I think that's one of the benefits of occupational medicine. My day-to-day, like I said, is a clinical day once a week. And then most everything else I do is administrative. And a lot of it I do anymore. I do it from home a lot of times. I still go into the headquarters every now and then for the power company, but a lot of what I do is answer phone calls, emails, get in on meetings. So a lot of it is very flexible.
Kind of what inspired you or led you to go into occupational medicine, and how did you find out about this as a field?
Yeah, I had no idea coming out of medical school that it even existed. I mean, never came up, never introduced to it. And like I said, for us, it was actually myself and another fellow from residency. We had a family medicine practice together that we started. And for us, it was very eye-opening when companies were coming to us saying, "Hey, can you do these kind of physicals for us? We don't have anybody that can do them. There's not a good occupational medicine clinic. We're out in rural North Carolina." And we just got started doing them and really found that we enjoyed it. And both of us turned it into our full-time jobs.
So, what makes your work in occupational medicine most interesting?
It's fascinating, the different types of jobs that you see, the different kinds of people, anything from pilots to hazmat exams, firefighters, police officers, dog catchers. It varies, and the different the sort of different scenarios that come up, and is this medicine okay for this person to use? I find myself reading. I find myself depending on peers that I've specifically that I've met through AOCOPM, calling them up and saying, "What do you think? Have you dealt with this before?" So it's really very very interesting and challenging. That's probably what I like about it the most. And then the other thing is just the fact that you can tailor it to what you like to do. So there's lots of opportunities.
So, why would someone want to choose to do what you do?
I love it. I mean, I would choose it because it's fun, and because just the flexibility of it, and the fact that there's so many different things that you can get into with whether it's teaching, whether it's administrative, whether it's the clinical side, drug testing, toxicology, epidemiology. There's so many different facets to it that are interesting and challenging.
What advice would you give students and or residents interested in your field of medicine?
So I think the biggest thing that you can do, or biggest two pieces of advice really, and I know there's always a lot of stress coming out of medical school and thinking to yourself, I don't want to get locked into some field and then that's all I'm going to ever do. And one of the things I always tell my students is, hey, you're not locked in. You want to get into a field where you get a good background, but you have a long career ahead of you. It can be 20, 30, 40 years, and you can reinvent yourself several times. There's other avenues. For us, it was occupational medicine, but that family medicine background that I had really set me up pretty well for occupational medicine. I understand, medicines, diseases, disease processes, all those things. I have a good background, and so I think it set things up. The other thing, with AOCOPM is the training programs that allow you to get into occupational medicine, do a basic course in occupational medicine, meet people within AOCOPM that have a good background. You'll meet some people that are medical directors for international companies, all the way down to people, or not down to, but people that have a functioning, or a group of functioning occupational medicine clinics, and academics, people that are teaching at major universities. So it's interesting the folks that you'll meet and come across. It's just it's a great great field and interesting folks.
Like you said before, as a medical student, you were first coming out, you didn't know a lot about the occupational medicine field. What would you say to students right now that are maybe looking into it? How can they find out more about occupational medicine?
Yeah, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes because there aren't so many occupational medicine residencies, um, but groups like AOCOPM are a great way to get an introduction. Attend a meeting, give folks a call at leadership at AOCOPM, and they'll be happy to hook you up with somebody. So as a mentor or just somebody, like myself, who could answer questions about the field. I've found with taking medical students that when they're kind of introduced to, oh, that's what occupational medicine is, a lot of students really like it. It has a lot of appeal. So, I just say ask, find somebody who's doing what you do. When I first got into it, I found a sort of a mentor at University of North Carolina and sought him out and said, hey, I think you're doing what I want to do in about 10 years. And he said, hey, great. What questions do you have? So, always folks are happy to mentor and answer questions.
How has the AOCOPM helped you in your career?
So 2 ways. One is I started taking the basic courses long time ago when I first got interested, which I found very helpful. And through the basic courses, I met a lot of folks that were in the field and were experts and were in leadership positions and had a chance to interact with really fascinating folks, and learned a lot more that way. And then the other aspect I think that can't be overlooked is the ability to take leadership roles in the organization. Before I knew it, I was lecturing, and sometimes on topics that I was not necessarily an expert in, but I had to learn, and there are lots of opportunities to take on leadership roles, to help other people learn. Eventually, I took on roles as far as secretary and president and vice president over time, and ended up teaching the basic course for a while. I had a lot of opportunities that arose out of that. It's a nice organization in the sense that it's not so large that you're just one little person. You have tons of opportunities to interact with folks and to take on leadership roles.